are going to be creating what's called a four-arm knife-in trellis system. It's kind of similar to what I have in my own grape, well, it is basically the same as what I have in my own grape trellis. We've selected 8-foot poles. They're a little beat up, but they were super cheap at the store. And here's the thing about the wood: if you're gonna put wood supports on your grape trellis, a healthy grapevine is gonna outlast the wood. It's either gonna decompose at the ground or it's gonna start to rot. So expect that after, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years, you'll have to probably replace the wood anyway. So on the four-arm knife-in system, generally you would use wire. The reason I'm not going to use wire is because this ground is pretty loose, even after it settles. With the wire and even cementing the post in, they tend to lean in. At least that's what I found when I did wire on my trellis system at first. So I'm going to use rebar that can just set on the supports and the grapes set on the rebar instead of pulling it in, because the wire is tied through to the post, and so as tension and weight build up, it pulls it in, whereas the rebar sits on the post, and so as tension and weight build up, it just pushes it down, it doesn't pull it in. So that's why I do rebar. What I'm going to do is I want the first post up here at 5 inches from the top, and I'm going to drill a hole, and that is going to be for the top wire support. I'll do the same thing on each of the 3. Now we're starting out here with just 3 posts. We're going to do 2 grape plants to begin with on this trellis system, and then we can easily build onto that as we want to, but we're just going to get started with 2. Okay, so this circle I just made is going to be where I drill a hole for the rebar, and that's going to be on the top of the trellis system. Now what I need for the second one, it needs to be 30 inches below. So the way that the four-arm knife-in trellis works, you have your ground level. 30 inches above the ground level is your first wire or support, in this case rebar. And then 30 inches above that is your second. And what you end up having is you have your vine come up the center and branch out on the first one, but then another vine comes out of that and branches out on the other. So you're really getting 4 arms coming off of this grape system. So I need to go down to 35 inches. That's going to be my second support. And then from there down to 65 inches. That will be 30 inches above the ground. So this, essentially, everything from down here can be buried and cemented into the ground. Okay, we'll do the same over here, 35 inches down. I'm kind of doing it backwards. That's my second support. And then 65 inches. And the same over here. 35 inches. And then 65 inches. Okay. So you can see in this situation, I have 31 inches to bury into the ground. That's important because the more you have, the better the strength and support's going to be on that. So you can imagine now, that's going to be the ground, and then that's going to be what stands above the ground. Now, in this situation, the top here, that's really going to be where the top support is, and there's no need for the post to go higher than the support in this case, so should be fine. Okay, we are going to drill out those holes. Now the rebar I have, I think is 10 foot. So what I need to keep in mind is that when I'm spacing these, I want the rebar to hang out a little bit. So anywhere from 7 to 9 feet is probably what I'm shooting for, pushing closer to the 9 foot spacing, so that a little bit of the rebar hangs out over the side, but not a bunch. And that'll give plenty of room for each grape to kind of expand and grow. Okay, we have this hill that faces roughly east to west, and it's full sunlight. And being up on a hill will get good airflow. So what we're gonna do is just clear up a few of those weeds, level it out a bit, and then we'll put some grapes right in here. Okay, back at it. It's been about 2 weeks. We've had about 108 to 114 temperatures, so haven't done much. But that's okay, because I wanted this ground here to settle. So our plan today, we want to get the trellis put in. I realized I forgot to bring the cement, so we're not going to get it cemented, but dig those holes. We're going to hide this irrigation line. We're going to build another retaining wall to hold up down here, and then we're going to cover with some ground cover. So we're using 2 different types of ground cover. Lantana, because it's just so pretty, it grows big. There's different types of lantana. There's a purple creeping lantana that we have here that will sprawl out and grow really quick. But it's great because not only is it really pretty, it's also going to help lock that soil together, and it's going to help avoid the erosion. Then we have red or pink lantana over there. It's going to be more bush-like. We have desert ice that we're going to be putting down right here, and that's going to also help with the irrigation. So we'll put it in time lapse and show you what we do. All right, so 95% done, maybe, with the trellis. A few things I gotta do some just clean up, make it look better, but a lot of this project was terraforming. So chose this spot for a couple of reasons. One, it gets great sun. It's up on a hill, so it gets good airflow. You want to arrange your grapevines in a roughly east to west orientation, which is pretty much what I did here. It's a little bit skewed off that, but it will get full sun. And then cleaned out some of the overgrowth behind it. Whole point for that is you need really good airflow with your grapes. This right here, the retaining walls, this was all kind of a scar on the hillside here, so I'll show the before and after photo, but had to build that up with dirt. It kind of went down like this and up like this, so leveled it all out for the most part. Built this up. That purple creeping lantana should grow quickly and take over, and that one's great for sunny hillsides. in Desert Scape. This is more of a bush. It's pink or red lantana. This is pink or magenta desert ice, which is one of my favorites. It's kind of a succulent, but it actually is a great desert scape plant. All of them are going to help hold the soil there and prevent erosion. Need some work on the steps. The steps were an afterthought just because it was steep right here. I'm going to come in and really clean them up because they're not quite settled. The irrigation has to be buried still. A little more cleanup of the growth behind. Just some cleanup on the ground down here. And then we're going to put a grape here and a grape there. To start it out, we'll have 2 grape plants. Trying to grow both of those from what they call, I think it's soft cuttings. It's not hard cuttings because they're still growing right now. But if that works, I'll do a video on it. One thing that I'd recommend here, well, a couple. I was gonna cement these in, but they are 30 inches in the ground. And whereas I'm using rebar, we talked about this before, the weight's gonna push down. Whereas if you use wire, it pulls in. And when you use wire on your trellis system, you really do need to have cement and really sturdy pillars. I went with, I think this is 1/4 inch rebar. I would recommend going with a larger size than that. You can see, it's not attached yet over there, but you can see that once it has weight on it, let me go to the other one that is attached. Once it has weight on it, it's gonna bow. It shouldn't snap, but it is gonna bow. If I went with 1/2 inch rebar, that would solve that problem. I need to drill these holes slightly bigger so I can punch both through. One other caution, if you're using rebar on your trellis system, make sure you put something on the end of this to cap it off so that no one runs and punctures himself. So that is what we've accomplished so far. We'll just come in, clean up the ground, put some grapes in there, fix the trellis, the rebar, fix the steps. But overall, pretty happy with it.